Meanwhile, Cam Ward, he was so excited to play in the Pop Tart Bowl, he played half of it. Sometimes you only want half a Pop Tart.
That's true. Yeah.
You have one, you two in the foil, you have one, save the other half for later. Maybe that's what Cam was going for. He comes out in the first half of this game, goes 12-19, throws 3 touchdowns, breaking the all-time passing touchdown NCAA mark of Case Keenum. They had entered tied at 155. Cam Ward throws 3, gets to 158, and then promptly removes himself from the game. He sat out the second half of the Pop Tart Bowl. This elicited quite a reaction. Emory Williams had to come in for Miami. 5 of 14, 26 yards, and 1 interception. Iowa State goes on to win the Pop Tart Bowl 42-41 and gets that delicious frosted cinnamon roll Pop Tart. I'm guessing, Pat, I have thoughts. I'm guessing you have thoughts on Cam Ward sitting the second half. Go ahead. The floor is yours, Mr. Forde.
Yeah. Quitter. That's my thought. You quit in the middle of a game. And I'm sure it was prearranged. This would be one time it would be nice if Miami would explain itself or have Cam Ward explain himself. I don't think he talked after the game. And Cristobal basically said, what we discuss in private stays in private. I think the fans deserve an explanation. I think those who have donated to the collective to pay Cam Ward's significant salary for the season deserve an explanation. I think it's a garbage move, and it underscores exactly how transactional we are at this point. That he got paid a lot as a 1-year rental, and he came in and he played well, and he was a Heisman finalist, and he nearly got Miami to the playoff. And then he basically said, I'm out. I'm going to go set this record, and then peace out. Goodbye. If you're going to do that, just don't play. Do not suit up. Do not play the game. Opt out. Playing a half a game is garbage, in my opinion, and it's poorly explained garbage from Miami. I'd like to know a lot more about what went into this.
Yeah, and was it all about the record? We don't know. Nobody's answering questions. I mean, if he had thrown 1 touchdown pass in the first half, would he have played in the second to try to get the record? Was it all about the record?
Only needed one. Only needed one TD.
Only needed one to tie, right? Or
I think they were tied.
He came in tied, right? And he threw 3. Yeah. He broke it with the first one.
So
gotcha.
Hey, he played those extra 2 for free.
Yeah, there you go. there you go. Well, we probably had this year. I think we probably had less, fewer maybe opt-outs than we have like the last couple of years, and I think a reason for that is clauses in collective contracts that require a player to play in postseason games to get their 13th payment is how a few have put it. You pay on a monthly basis maybe, so 12 months, and that's a 13th payment to play in the postseason game. That's how some collective CEOs have put it to me. And so I think that's a reason why. And I do wonder, like, does Cam Ward get half of that 13th payment since he just played in half of the bowl? I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem like it's a great look, and it's an even worse look when we don't get answers from anybody afterward.
Yeah, maybe there's an explanation. I thought this was a terrible look. I did. I think I'm pretty normally on this podcast. I'm not the one that's shaking my fist at clouds that the game has changed. Sit out a bowl game. I would have had no problem if he said, hey man, I'm sitting the Pop Tart Bowl out. I'm the number 1 pick. Are you crazy? And I would have said, yeah, fine. To quit in the middle? What was that? Either play or don't. You have the right to do whatever you want, I guess, but it's like, don't you owe something to your teammate? People say, well, you got to be pro player and these guys should just be able to bail in it. What about the other players? I'm sure the other kids on the Miami team, and maybe they'll all support Cam Ward. That's fine, but at some level, someone's gonna be like, well, I want to win the game. I don't care if you're playing pickup ball down at the park, and you got one guy on your team's the best player, and halfway through the game, he's like, I'm out. Like, what the hell, man? Why just start the game? This is not a good. Whoever advised him that this was a good decision, or didn't say, hey, man, you might either want to go one way or the other, because now it's this big story, and I think he's still going to be the number one pick in the draft. But it's like you just subjected yourself to like 4 months of, are you a quitter or not? Why the whole thing just didn't make any sense. To leave in the middle, it's just, don't you owe it to the other players, the coaches, to everybody, that like, if you're going to start the game, finish the game?
I would think so. I was shocked that they actually, then that Miami signed off on this. If this was a pregame decision, I assume it was. And, if that's the case, like Miami, if I were Mario Cristobal, I would have said, you're either playing the whole game or you're not playing at all, and we'll go with our backup. And we've had instances, I would say, of more quiet quitting in bowl games before. We've had players ask for, snap counts. I've seen a lot of guys running out of bounds in the bowl season.
Yeah.
Who, but I've never seen anybody just pack up and say at halftime, you know what? Hey, good luck, guys. I'm going to watch the rest of this one.
It's weird too, and the camera had panned a couple times to him, just kind of staring from the sideline with no helmet. It just, the whole thing was quite odd. I think there were several scouts in attendance, but not just scouts. I was told by someone there that the Giants front office people and ownership were there. So you do wonder. I mean, they got a firsthand look at Cam Ward for one half, but you do wonder if he just opened himself up for several months. I mean, he already, right? We know how scrutinized these players are during the pre-draft process from January through April, and now he just turned up the temperature on it. So hope it was worth it.
Yeah, we'll see. And it probably won't affect his draft stock, but if I were Shedeur Sanders, I would go into interviews with teams that are trying to decide if they want to take the first quarter or have a chance to take the first quarterback and say, I don't quit in games. I played all of them. And he takes a lot more hits than most quarterbacks. So, I think it's a lousy look. It's a lousy precedent. And it does, Dan, I think like you said, you are not somebody who says by any means that says players need to be, subservient parts of the machinery or anything, but this is a swinging of the pendulum, I think, too far in the other direction of players can decide when they want to just walk out of a game.
Yeah, when you're just bailing in the middle, take this job and shove it. I mean, obviously anyone can do it. You can do it in any walk of life, but there's just sort of, you owe something to the other people on the front line with you. Mm-hmm. I've been quiet quitting this podcast for like 5 years. I'm all for quiet quitting. But this, I just look at, you could be pro player or pro just sort of free market, but you can't be like, can't just be ridiculous. I mean, it's like, dude, you started the game, you just left in the middle. It's like, let's say you're a kitchen on a busy restaurant, like you can quit your job, but like in the middle of the shift, you just screw everybody else over, right? They're all trying, now they got to cook without you. You're on a assembly line, or you're, whatever you do. It was a bad look. And there's two things I do know. One, the NFL draft speculation is so reasonable. I'm sure they won't bring this up for ad nauseum for them. Right. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I think we had to, can Cam Newton play in the NFL? I heard. Yeah, he was pretty good. I think he was all right. Two, I'm sure Shedeur, being the quiet guy, he won't bring it up. He won't mention it.
Right. No, not at all.
No, I mean, dude wore New York Giants cleats in the pregame warm-up. Did you see that? Shedeur Sanders, like, come get me, Giants.
Never misses a trick when it comes to marketing and messaging.
No, and they'll miss a trick, and then you say, "I'm playing," and you're right. A lot of guys did play this year. Like I said, I had no problem with someone being like, "Yeah, my season's done. I'm going to give Miami." I even think it helps teams in some ways to play their younger guys. You get a chance, you know. You get a chance to get a guy in there, see how they are. Maybe that freshman didn't play a ton. They had Tennessee last year. They got Nico in there, had a great bowl game, set them up, kind of right. Leads to the playoffs, right? You can get something out of it. So I don't even think like if you quit on the final game, it's a big deal. I just think in the middle just makes no sense to me.